Today, I'm watching the Twilight Zone Season 2, Episode 5. The previous episode was about this Finchley character who had this problem with machines. These machines were monsters. They were coming to life. His typewriter, his car, his razor, everything was coming after him. And we saw him be killed by his own car, pushing him into the pool at the end. This episode, we know, is about this howling situation. We just had the shot of Rod Serling and this very long, ominous hallway, and he mentioned that there's something in this room. It definitely sounds a little bit spookier, so I'm curious to see where we're gonna go in this episode. But thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. And something new that I'm going to be adding is including pieces from my review at the end that will be exclusive for Patreon, so if you're interested in that, be sure to check that out. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content.
It's an incredible story. I of all people know this.
Oh, I'm so uncomfortable already. The Dutch angle and him like breaking the fourth wall.
Then you will believe because you must. You must believe.
He seems very nervous. I'm worried.
But one night I got lost in a storm.
Oh, this is creepy. Oh my gosh. I'm excited, but yeah, it's starting off very grim. It's making me think of like a Vincent Price film, like The Haunting on Hill House. We've got this storm, he's lost.
This isn't a hermitage. No, I'm not a visitor. I'm a stranger here. I'm lost.
Is he a shepherd? What's with the cane? Okay. I'm getting very like Ten Commandments vibe already, just with like whoever this person is. Yeah. They're really using the Dutch angles in this episode. This is like the fifth one we've had in like 5 minutes. Yeah. Okay, now it's getting very creepy. They just all come out and stare at him. Are we doing a werewolf themed? They did say it was the Howling, so...
Jerome will see you now.
That's my prediction anyway. Yeah, I'm curious. The wind. It's always the wind.
I saw light here.
What do you want from us?
He's like, it's cold and raining out. Yeah, I just want to be inside.
We cannot help you. You will have to leave.
Oh my gosh. They're not very hospitable. Okay. I'm worried. I'm very worried. Yeah, it's giving... something is off, clearly. And he's also not, like, doing well, like, physically. Like, he looks like he needs to lay down or he's gonna pass out. Like, oh, there he goes. Yep.
A door-seeking sanctuary and found instead the outer edges of the Twilight Zone.
Hey, that's the name of the movie. I love like gothic horror movies, and this set is definitely reminding me of like an old school gothic horror movie. Yeah, with like the architecture and the design of it. So cool.
Help me.
Oh my gosh.
No, please. In the name of mercy, help me. You're not one of them.
Why is he caged up?
I tried to open my mouth to speak, but before I could utter a sound, he raised that heavy staff he carries. You've seen it?
Oh my gosh, like what, kidnapped him just because he was kissing? What? Oh my god.
Why?
Yes, great question.
Because she refused his advances.
Oh my gosh, what is happening?
It makes his madness seem a harmless thing. The madness of a religious zealot.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting some kind of vibe like that.
You must believe me. I don't say they're evil. I say they're mad.
I'm like, how long has this guy been here? Like, yeah, this is probably the first person he's seen.
He's the greatest maniac of them all.
Well, then how can I help you?
Mr. Ellington.
Well, they were definitely just standing there listening.
Come with me, please.
I must talk with you.
This way.
Take your chances in the storm, buddy. Get out of there. Yeah, oh my gosh. They're creeping me out. He's like, oh, you think I'm crazy, do you? Great. This'll go over well.
Why in such a hurry for me to leave? What are you afraid I'll find out? It's the man you have locked up in the cell, isn't it, brother?
Yeah, exactly. What secrets are they hiding? Yeah.
The one we just left. The one who's been screaming his head off.
I'm not sure you know what you're saying.
Is he hallucinating? What? That seemed like a very genuine... Oh, here goes the Dutch angle again.
I was just talking with him.
You talk to no man.
This is gaslighting 101, or like, what are we doing? Yeah, and the way the camera's moving, and the way they cross the room and sit down.
Honest men make unconvincing liars.
That's a good one. Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh. Get out of there, buddy. This is a bad situation. You're gonna be in a cage next.
There is no man.
All right, just forget it.
Yeah, is he just disorientated from the storm? Like, that conversation seemed so real.
The truth, but only a part of it. Now I see I shall have to tell you the whole truth.
And nothing but the truth? Okay. Yeah, I'm curious who's the unreliable one here.
As I have heard it every hour of every day for 5 long years.
Oh my gosh.
Why did you lie?
That's a very long time.
It is the devil himself.
Cue the dramatic lightning strike. Da 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 da. Oh my gosh. Standing right by the window. Yeah.
Archangel, Ahriman, Asmodeus, Belial, Diabolus, the devil.
Okay. Very curious indeed.
For the truth. Now you have it.
I don't think he believes him at all.
Me at all. Quite to the contrary. You're now quite certain of what you suspected, that I am mad.
And because he talked to that guy first, he's kind of has this, notion in his head, obviously. Yeah.
I merely the results of a different point of view.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where we're going to go with this one. Is it really the devil?
For some reason, the people of Schwarzhof refused to yield to despair. They lost none of their faith.
Okay, very interesting. Why? Okay.
So he came here and embarked upon a program of corruption.
But you stopped it.
Yes!
Were they actually corrupt, though, or just his, perception of it? Like you said, he studied philosophy. Is he just this self-righteous guy who thinks he knows best?
But I had him in a cell before he knew what happened.
But if he's the devil, how do you keep him locked up?
Yeah, exactly. Is he gonna part the Red Sea? Like, yeah, I feel like the devil would be a little bit more powerful than that, but...
Spectator, a face in the crowd. But always, he was there.
So he thinks he's, rid the world of corruption now because he's got this guy locked up? I don't think that's how that's gonna work.
Not that I doubt you. You understand only. Well, isn't it possible you might have made a mistake?
No.
He's like, I need to play my cards right. I don't want to end up in a cell myself.
You haven't put an end to suffering. There's still murders, robberies. Even now I were talking...
Right? Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
We cause most of our own griefs. We need no help from him.
I mean, it's probably right about that.
The great wars, the overwhelming pestilences, the wholesale sinning that we have stopped.
So he thinks there'll be no more war ever again because of this guy's locked up?
I was doubtful at first, but you've convinced me. Absolutely. I promise to keep your secret.
I think he's just saying whatever he needs to say to get out of here because, yeah. And the performances, as always, have been so amazing. Yeah, I'm curious to see where we're going to go with this one. I'm really enjoying this episode so far.
I can find nothing. Jerome is mad. But he's shrewd, too.
Oh, you weren't supposed to talk to him? Oh my gosh, just the hand on the shoulder.
I was fearful you might lose your way. Come.
Is this guy just saying whatever he needs to say to get out of here? Because he wants to get out of his cage, obviously. Would the police actually, be able to get him out? I don't know. And of course, the storm playing a part of this as well. Yeah, this guy, I'm glad we have our, main character. I don't know if he's the villain or what angle we're going yet, but I'm glad he has, some smarts about him and is able to realize that staying the night here is a bad idea. But yeah, having this storm as, a character as well, where, that's what forced him to come here in the first place. He can't just get out and leave because the elements... And of course, then it brings in the dramatic lightning. Yeah, just like that. And, such a big piece of the story.
Is this all that holds you in?
Yes, lift it off.
Why haven't you done it yourself?
Oh, yeah, I said it's the staff of truth when he, lifted it over his head.
In the name of mercy. If you fail now, they'll kill both of us. Don't you understand that?
That's the only thing keeping him in, then it might be true. I don't know. Oh, my gosh.
Hurry! Hurry! Stop! Stop! Stop!
I'm worried. Oh, my gosh, he's letting him out. And we know from the Rod Serling intro, he said he shouldn't be let out. Okay. Yep. They were right to keep him locked up, clearly. He just, did this and his whole spine kind of twisted. Oh, my gosh. Oh, he's got horns! Oh, my God! And his ears! Whoa, 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 whoa! Oh, my God! Oh, that's such a cool shot! I love it! Just let out the devil. Oh! In a fiery smoke. Naturally, how else do you make an exit? And collapses. Oh my gosh. That was such a cool shot with that transition. I'm obsessed.
And you know, Mr. Ellington, whom you have turned loose upon the world.
Yeah, don't feel guilty about that for forever. No, of course not. Why would you?
Didn't recognize him.
That is man's weakness. And Satan.
But it felt like such a normal response. And you see this person caged up, you would want to help them.
It took many years, but I did it. See, I have him in there now.
Oh my gosh.
Now you understand why you must not, under any circumstances, go near that door. You see how important it is that he stay locked up.
Now he's the one trying to convince other people, and she's like, you're nuts.
Pay no attention to that. It's a trick, I know. Yes, I must go now.
She's gonna let him out, of course. Yeah.
I'll be back in just a few minutes.
And wouldn't he recognize him again? How did he catch him? Oh, of course. Of course. Yeah, here we go again. Oh my gosh.
To the end of their days and beyond in the Twilight Zone.
Great transition to end it. Just have the darkness of the room open up into the stars of the Twilight Zone. So it's my first time watching the Twilight Zone, Season 2, Episode 5, this Howling Man. I really like this episode. I thought, like many, many other Twilight Zone episodes, it's so well done with the strong performances. We have this castle, this set is our main location for the entire episode, with a few scenes in the apartment after at the end. But, the majority of the episode obviously takes place in this one location. We did have a few of these, religious characters, but not all of them talked. So I think only there's 4 or 5 speaking parts through this entire episode. But again, that's what we've seen so well done in so many previous, episodes, and I really like that format. They played heavily into the Dutch angle for the camera techniques in this, even starting off with, David speaking right into the camera and just warning the audience, don't make my mistake, I have to tell you this. And there's often a character who's so steadfast in what he believes, and then it's trying to convince other people. It almost reminds me a little bit of the Maple Street episode, where you start to convince people and then theories just start to spin and you're like, who do you believe? Who do you trust? And the Dutch angles are notoriously used to show when things are off kilter. Obviously, they're a skewed angle. It's tilted. So sets that tone of okay, hey, pay attention. Something's not right here. And especially when we have the longer dialogue scenes between Jerome and David, and every time a character would move, the camera would tilt slightly. Oh, a character standing up. Oh, a character sitting down. And I just love that attention to detail, and it's an extra piece that they didn't have to include, but of course they took that extra step to make it more creative, and it really just adds to the episode and shows hey, pay attention here, this is the things that they're saying are important, and this is not a time span of an episode. We don't have 6 hours to go through where they can just put in filler. Every piece of this has to be moving the plot forward, and that conversation I think is really important. But yeah, to go from Jerome trying to convince David, to David trying to convince, his housekeeper that, hey, please don't do this. And of course, it's natural human instinct, in my opinion. You'd want to help this person. You'd want to say, it's not normal that someone's locked up behind a door. Like, what's going on? And even David mentions, like, I'm going to get the police because, again, that's your, kind of first response is, oh, something isn't right. I should contact somebody who can help. And, if this thing behind the door is dangerous as they say it is, why aren't you contacting the police, or why isn't somebody else handling this position of authority? Why are you taking it on to do this? But as the story unravels, we find out just how important that is, and the staff of truth, because he's like, this is what's keeping you locked up. Because I was like, okay, the devil is this big powerful creature, how is he not able to transform himself, get out of this situation? It definitely sounded like everybody in this, place was avoiding him. Nobody had really talked to him because they don't want to get caught up in this web of him convincing them to do things. And that's what we see with David. We have nature as a character as well in this, with the storm kind of pushing him inside. And, it kind of reminded me of like a Vincent Price movie with this raging storm. And, that brought up some great dramatic, lightning shots, which was so cool to see in the background as well. And just, adding this menacing layer to the situation where he can't just go out and walk into the rain. He's already exhausted. We see him throughout the whole episode. He passes out at one point. He can barely stand, and then that plays into it as well. You're like, okay, is he just tired from walking around and getting lost, or is he tired because he's hallucinating and his mind is playing tricks on him? So yeah, I really like that most of the episode you don't know who to really believe. I think they did a good job of that. Sometimes I think you can tell quicker than others, but this episode I was going back and forth for the most part until he opens that door, and then you're like, you should have listened, of course. But again, you see someone trapped like that, I think, your first instinct would be, oh, I should help this person. And to have that transition seem was so well done, so seamless in my opinion. And as he's walking through each of the pillars, his ears and his horns start to grow. And I was like, did he have horns this whole time? Like, did I miss that? And then you see him, and of course, just with the lightning and the black and white contrast as well as he goes through each pillar. So cool, so well done, and just really emphasizes that, yes, this is the devil that you've let loose. The horns obviously being a pretty big giveaway, but the cape made me think vampire for a second. I thought, oh, is it actually Dracula? We had Howling. It's called the Howling Man. I thought we were going to do more of like a werewolf themed thing. It's like, oh, maybe it's a full moon during the storm and they're, locking him up for that reason. But then when they said it was 5 years, I was like, that wouldn't make sense. Werewolves are only obviously in their wolf form during the full moon, maybe a couple, nights a month. And then obviously he would go back to being, normal. It was like, maybe they don't want to risk it. I don't know. But yeah, instantly my first thought was werewolf. The cape and that horns and the transition as they slowly got bigger, and his ears and everything. So cool. And the actor, I don't know who did the casting, but you did a great job. He looked, I know it's probably mean to say, but he looked so like malicious and menacing, and like he just had this look about him that you're like, oh, like it just gave you chills. And he just did this great performance. But just, I love the way that they had that transition. They could have just had him walk, they could have done a number of things, but just the way that they framed it between those pillars and had it slowly grow and grow, I thought was so well done. So let me know in the comments if you know how they did that shot. I think that's so cool. And of course, to have him disappear in the puff of smoke and the flame, amazing. And with the lightning and the storm in the background, just the perfect, very much a horror movie vibe I got from this. And we don't have very many scenes between David and the devil. He only talks to him once before he goes in to talk to Jerome. So he's not like he has, years and years of conversation to base this on. And all he sees is this guy who seems rational. He doesn't sound crazy. He's forming sentences properly. He's not, spitting off random things. Of course, Jerome is the crazy one. It's not me, it's that guy, of course, like he's the one. And of course, given first impressions, Jerome does seem, just this very like, and they describe him as this very staunch character. He's, set in his ways, and this devil says, oh, I was just out there kissing this girl, and the next thing I know, he's beating me with this staff. And you're like, what? Like that, why would you, like if you just hear that one side of it, of course you think, well, why would someone do that? But, and then to hear the full story, and even so, I think David David was just saying what he wanted Jerome to hear so that he would let him go, because you're thinking, okay, am I going to be next? I thought maybe David was going to end up in a cage. They literally lock him in a room at one point, and he, manages to escape, and of course, sets the devil free. And I liked having that, continuous loop at the end when they time jump and they say, okay, he was able to track him down, but, then he is let loose at the end as well, because again, someone else you have to now convince. And now David is playing that part that Jerome was playing, of trying to convince somebody, saying, please don't do this, like, I'm only going to be gone for a few minutes. And of course she lets him out, and, listing off all the things that had happened since then, and how the devil was, drawn to this valley because everybody was happy there, despite, World War I just ending and everything being in chaos. The devil, couldn't resist coming in and just corrupting everybody, basically. And I was like, okay, is it your version of corruption? Obviously some religious themes throughout this episode as well, which was interesting. We haven't had a ton of those. So yeah, a really well done episode. I really like the performances. Very interesting. I feel like there's a lot you can take apart from this. And I almost wish this was a movie. Like, I feel like you could have done another hour or so, with this story and a little bit more back and forth. But a really, really solid episode. So thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. Oh, I'm so uncomfortable already. The Dutch angle and him like breaking the fourth wall. Is he a shepherd? What's with the cane? He's like, it's cold and raining out. Yeah, I just want to be inside. Why is he caged up? Oh my gosh, they're like, what, kidnapped him just because he was kissing? What? And his ears. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh my god.